Hey guys, today I'm filming a first impression and follow-up on the Makeup Forever Ultra HD Stick Foundation. I've already done one on the Makeup Forever Ultra HD Liquid Foundation. I'll have that video linked up here. I received both of these products from Influencer for testing purposes. The Makeup Forever Ultra HD Stick Foundation retails for $43. It is a Sephora exclusive and it comes in 15 shades. 15 shades isn't terrible for a stick foundation, but compared to the shade selection of the liquid, which would be 40, 15 is not so hot. In the stick foundation, I am the shade Y225, which is the lightest yellow tone shade in this line. But in the liquid, I am Y215, which is my perfect match. But unfortunately, they don't have that shade in the stick. So this is probably going to be a little bit dark for me, but I'm hoping I will be able to make it work. So to show you the packaging, the box is just classic black Makeup Forever. The shade number is on the top. And then for the packaging of the actual stick foundation, sleek black with a gold band similar to the liquid. And then it is clear on top so you can see the actual color of your product. On the inside, there is this little plastic cap over top of the foundation. I recommend that you keep that. It will just help to seal up this foundation, make sure no air gets in there to dry it out. And then just twist it on up. And there is the actual foundation. So now I'm going to read you the claims from the Sephora website. It says this is a long-lasting multitasking cover stick with invisible coverage for foundation touch-ups and contouring. What it does. Ultra HD Invisible Cover Stick Foundation creates a flawless complexion on camera and to the naked eye. Developed specifically for the film and TV industry's most advanced technology, it is completely invisible under the latest super focused 4K lens. The revolutionary foundation contains amino acid coated pigments that provide medium to full coverage with a lightweight second skin texture that looks just like skin. It leaves a natural looking radiant finish and it's formulated with hyaluronic spheres for time released hydration that is perfect for normal to dry skin. Ideal for foundation touch-ups and contouring, it can be applied at home or on the go for a flawless complexion. So to sum up those claims, it says this is medium to full coverage with a radiant finish and it is best for normal to dry skin. I knew this was not targeted towards my skin type. I do have very, very oily skin, but because I did receive this for free, I did want to test it out and show you guys how it actually would hold up on very oily skin. So I don't have very high hopes for the lasting power of this, but maybe it will surprise me. So to test out this foundation today, I will try applying it two different ways, one side with a sponge and the other side with a brush. So I'm going to go ahead and start applying. I'm probably going to apply more than I need because I always tend to go a little product heavy, and this is gliding on the skin really smoothly without any primer, so I can't wait to see tomorrow when I do have primer. But all right, so there's half of my face and I'm gonna blend this out with a damp sponge. I feel like stick foundations usually need something more dense like a brush, so we'll see how this actually works out. So it's blending out pretty easily. It's blending out better than I expected, but I do have to really like get in there. I definitely have a little bit of resistance with a sponge, but it's not impossible to blend it out if you are a sponge kind of girl. So here is one layer with the sponge versus no foundation. Definitely did give some nice coverage and it did blend out pretty quickly. So now onto the brush. So now for the brush side, I feel like this is going to blend just a lot easier because I am using such a dense brush, but we'll see. But I do have some resistance with the brush as well. And I guess that's just due to the nature that we're using a stick foundation instead of a liquid. So here is one layer with a brush, one layer with a sponge. I don't know if I see really much of a difference at all in terms of coverage. So I feel like with one layer right now, I do have light medium or medium coverage. It has covered up most of my redness and my freckles are able to show through, which I like. So now I'm going to go ahead and apply a second layer, this side with a sponge, this side with a brush. So here is 2 layers of the foundation. I feel like now I definitely have medium buildable coverage. I'm sure I could go in with even more in targeted areas and get full. So coverage is definitely great. As you guys can tell, I'm so freaking shiny. So they were not kidding when they said that this foundation had a radiant finish. And in terms of the application, I'm not sure which I like better. I feel like they gave the same amount of coverage, but I actually might like this sponge better, which I did not expect. So now I'm going to apply some under eye concealer, and I'm going to set my face with the RCMA No Color Powder. That will not give me any color coverage or mattify me. It will just help to set the skin because this is definitely a sticky, tacky foundation. Right now it is 10:30 a.m. I will be back in a few hours to check in. I am back for my first check-in. It is 1:30 p.m. and I've been wearing this foundation for 3 hours. So at this point, I'm definitely oily. I'm extremely oily on the sides of my nose, and I'm starting to get oily in the center of my forehead and my chin as well. I always get pretty oily around my nose quickly, but I'm definitely more oily than usual at this point, and I kind of expected that because this was such a radiant foundation. It hasn't started to break up or anything yet, and I actually think this color does work pretty well for me. It's a little dark, but if I use a colored powder that is a little bit lighter, I think I can make a really good match. So the shade looks good. It definitely hasn't oxidized, but I am a lot more oily than I would like to be at this point. So I will do another check-in in a few hours. Hey guys, it is 4:30 p.m. I've had this foundation on for 6 hours. I usually like to do my check-ins a little bit later, but it's getting darker a lot sooner, so I'm not able to. So as you can see, I'm definitely a very shiny, obviously around my nose, but also forehead and chin. I can feel it. Feels very gross, especially around my nose, like yuck. And the rest of my face, my cheeks feel fine, but even my jawline is getting pretty oily, so I am going to blot with a piece of toilet paper. I only see a little bit transfer on the tissue, which is great. And even though I am pretty oily, this has not broken down yet, which is pretty impressive. So this is actually going okay so far, considering that this is targeted towards a dry skin. So I'm gonna have a text post at the end of the night once it has been 12 hours. So at 10:30 p.m. and I'll let you know how it held up to that point. Then tomorrow I will be back to put this foundation in my everyday routine, see how it holds up with those products, see if I can make it last a little bit longer and stay matte longer. So now for the follow-up of the MakeUpForEver Ultra HD Stick Foundation. Today I'm going to be putting this product in my everyday routine so I can really test how well this works for me. I'll be using a mattifying primer, a pore filling primer, and I will be using a mattifying face powder with color. I will also be blotting whenever I feel like it throughout the day and touching up with my Rimmel Stay Matte powder. So first, to prime, I'm going to be using the Lorac Porefection Matte Primer, and I am going to apply some of that all over. Next, I'm going to take my Smashbox Photo Finish Pore Minimizing Primer, and I'm going to apply this in my large pores, around my nose, on my nose, and also in the lines on my forehead. So now to apply the actual foundation. In the first impression video, I tried with a brush and a sponge, and much to my surprise, I think I like the sponge better, so that's what I'm going to be using today. So I am just going to start on one side of my face, and with that primer, it is gliding even easier. Like I said yesterday, even without the primer, it was gliding pretty easily, but with the primer, it is like just gliding on like butter. I have no resistance, which is great. I'm excited to try this out with a brush, with a primer, to see if it helps it glide even more and I won't have resistance when blending it with a brush. So just taking damp sponge. And this is definitely blending easier because I have a primer. I am not having any resistance, which is great. It just makes it easier and quicker to apply and blend out. So here's one layer of foundation versus no foundation. So here is one layer all over. I will be applying a second layer all over to get even more of that full coverage look. Here's 2 layers of foundation versus 1 layer of foundation. With 2 layers, I feel like it does cancel out and cover up most of my redness, and it does cover up some of my freckles, but my deeper, darker freckles are still showing through, so I really like this coverage. And here is 2 layers of the foundation all over. I think it gives great coverage. Like I said, it is a smidge too dark for me, but I think my face powder will help that. Now I'm going to apply my under eye concealer and powder off camera. So in case you are curious, I use the Boo Boo Cover Up Concealer in light under my eyes, and I set it with the Ben Nye Cameo powder. Now to set my whole face, I'll be using the Maybelline Fit Me Matte and Poreless Powder in the shade 100 Translucent with the Real Techniques powder brush. I think this will help mattify me, give me a little bit more coverage, and I think it will also help to adjust the shade to match me better. So I'm just going to be setting my entire face. So now I have my face all set. I feel like the color of that powder did help make this foundation match my skin a little bit better. So I really like the way this looks right now. I feel like this looks very, very flawless. And I will be checking in with you guys about halfway through the day to let you know how this routine is working with this product. I'll let you know how much I had to touch up throughout the day. So I'll see you guys in a couple hours. Hey guys, it is 3 p.m. I've had this foundation on for about 5 hours, and I wanted to give you guys my final thoughts on it. So today, using this in my everyday routine, I did choose to blot about every 2.5 hours, and I wasn't looking super duper greasy, but I definitely could feel greasy and see it a little bit. For me, I like to blot as soon as I notice that oil coming through, because if I wait too long, it's too late to really fix anything. It's already kind of yucked up my makeup, so that's the reason that I blotted so much. But still, blotting every 2 hours is a lot more than I would like. I usually blot around every 4 hours. So overall, I was actually very impressed with this foundation. I didn't think it would work for me whatsoever. I absolutely love the coverage. It's definitely medium buildable to full. I am able to make the shade work for me. I'm also able to make the Radiant Glow work for me, but it is a little more high maintenance than I would like, having to touch up so much. So this probably isn't a foundation that I'm going to reach for on a day-to-day, but I'm definitely going to love using this for travel or for a quick casual makeup day. I would highly, highly recommend this for anyone that has dry or normal skin. I think you would love this. If this helped mattify me more, I would be using this every single day. It just glides on so easy, blends so nicely, has great coverage. This is not a product that I will repurchase with my own money because it isn't the best for my skin type. But honestly, guys, I highly recommend this. The MakeUpForEver HD liquid was just okay, but I think this is great. So guys, that was my first impression and follow-up on the MakeUpForEver Ultra HD Stick Foundation. I would love to know your thoughts if you've tried out this product. Thank you so much for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye, guys.